Today we're talking about the co-op games from 1991. But first, let's see what other games came out in 1991. Sonic the Hedgehog, A Link to the Past, Street Fighter II, Castlevania 4, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, Metroid 2, Fatal Fury, and the Super Nintendo was finally released in the US, as well as the Sega CD. Now let's talk about the co-op games. Streets of Rage stands as a noteworthy addition to the Genesis library, exemplifying Sega's prowess in translating arcade-style beat-em-ups to home consoles. The inclusion of a two-player mode and varied difficulty settings adds to its replayability, even outclassing some contemporaries. Visually, it echoes the quality of Sega's flagship title, Sonic the Hedgehog, with intricate backgrounds and parallax effects. The game's theme, though not groundbreaking, breaks from damsel in distress tropes, and Blaze's role as a strong female fighter sets an early example of diverse character representation. Yuzo Koshiro's evocative soundtrack complements each level impeccably. Streets of Rage remains a compelling beat-em-up classic. The Legend of the Mystical Ninja may have flown under the radar for many Super Nintendo enthusiasts, but it's a hidden gem worth discovering. While some were engrossed in titles like Super Mario World or Mega Man, this Konami creation offers a delightful side-scrolling adventure filled with humor and charm. As Goemon, players embark on a quirky quest with wacky cutscenes that might leave non-Japanese players scratching their heads. The gameplay is where the game truly shines, delivering fast-paced action akin to Zelda: A Link to the Past, but with added B-movie flair. It doesn't demand intricate strategy, focusing on quick reflexes and satisfying combat. While most enemies pose little challenge, the game compensates with numerous bonuses and minigames, from classic arcade levels to painting canvases and exploring dungeons. The multiplayer option enhances the experience, even if it occasionally devolves into friendly fire chaos. Technically, the game impresses with a lack of slowdown, though its graphics might not stand out as much. The colorful, anime-inspired visuals, accompanied by lively music, set the mood perfectly. The Legend of the Mystical Ninja, often overlooked due to its theme, offers a captivating gameplay experience. Battletoads is a nostalgic blast from the past, originally released for the NES. That takes players on a wild ride through 8 action-packed stages, as one of 3 hulking mutant toads on a mission to rescue their kidnapped girlfriend from the clutches of the malevolent Dark Queen. While the plot is definitely cheesy, the gameplay shines with each toad boasting similar abilities like jumping, punching, and running. The combat system revolves around punching and super punches, adding a layer of strategy to the brawls. The game also surprises with unique play modes, including rope swinging and vehicle segments. However, the controls can be a source of frustration, particularly the sticky jumping mechanics. Battletoads doesn't hold back in terms of difficulty, offering relentless enemies and challenging platforming. In fact, this is considered to be one of the hardest games ever made, and when you play it in 2-player co-op, it doesn't necessarily make it easier, as if one player dies, you both have to start from the beginning of the level. I always felt that the controls and the mechanics of the game and all the unique features made it a really interesting game. If it was a little more gamer-friendly with the difficulty, this could have been an all-time great. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Turtles in Time stands as a timeless arcade classic that effortlessly delivers co-op beat-em-up brilliance. The game's straightforward yet engaging storyline revolves around the Turtles' time-traveling quest to thwart Shredder's audacious theft of the Statue of Liberty. With support for up to 4 players in the arcade, it offers an unforgettable co-op experience, letting players choose their favorite turtle with unique stats to tackle diverse stages and vanquish a myriad of enemies. The combat system introduces various moves and attacks, adding depth to the satisfying brawling action. Its exceptional visuals and sound design create an immersive gaming environment, making Turtles in Time a must-play for fans of both the Turtles franchise and classic arcade gaming. The Simpsons arcade game is another all-time great Konami beat-em-up. capturing the essence of the early 90s arcade scene and the beloved Simpsons franchise. This 4-player co-op beat-em-up allows you to embody the Simpson family as they rescue Maggie from the clutches of Mr. Burns and his bizarre diamond theft endeavors. Visually and sonically, the game is accurate to the source material, with subtle nods to the TV show. While newcomers might find it repetitive, for arcade veterans, The Simpsons Arcade is an absolute blast, reminiscent of a golden era of gaming. Knights of the Round may not be as fantastical as other beat-em-ups, but it delivers a solid medieval brawler experience. Playing as King Arthur or his loyal knights, you embark on a quest to recover the Holy Grail. Each character offers a distinct playstyle, with Arthur being balanced, Lancelot agile yet weaker, and Percival strong but lacking in reach. The absence of secondary weapons is offset by the occasional horseback ride that boosts speed and power. Even if it favors some characters more, the combat, while enjoyable, suffers from challenging move execution. The game's level up system, tied to scoring, adds depth. While not the apex of Capcom's beat-em-ups, Knights of the Round still holds up well, offering engaging medieval mayhem with excellent visuals and music. Toejam and Earl is a quirky relic from the 90s on the Sega Genesis. Playing as the oddball duo, Toejam and Earl, you'll navigate the eccentric world of Funkatron to find scattered spaceship parts while fending off tomato-throwing foes. The game's bizarre humor and psychedelic moments set it apart, and instead of your typical top-down action game, Toejam and Earl takes a slower approach. Instead of attacking your enemies, you take a more defensive route. You want to avoid the enemies. The game's more about exploration and less about action. The standout feature is the 2-player mode, offering a dynamic split-screen mode, which is an underrated feature, and this might be the first example of this ever existing. Despite its dated aspects, the colorful graphics and catchy music continue to shine, making Toejam and Earl worth a visit for those seeking a dose of 90s nostalgia. The other Ninja Turtles game to come out in 1991 was TMNT 3, The Manhattan Project, on the NES. As the Turtles enjoy a brief vacation in Florida, Shredder takes Manhattan sky high and kidnaps April, setting the stage for another thrilling rescue mission. The game follows the familiar beat-em-up formula, but it injects a breath of fresh air with unique special moves for each turtle, adding depth to the combat. The new throw attack is a game changer, allowing swift disposal of foot soldiers while offering strategic depth. Although some stages feel reminiscent of its predecessor, the longer levels, interactive environments, and a variety of new foes keep the journey engaging. While still challenging, the improved balance makes it a more enjoyable experience than its predecessor, with vibrant graphics and an outstanding soundtrack. TMNT 3, The Manhattan Project, is an NES gem that deserves recognition beyond its overshadowed release year. Sunset Riders is another solid game from the early 90s arcade Konami scene. While it may not bear the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles name, it inherits their cooperative 4-player action spirit, this time in a Wild West setting. This run-and-gun shooter spices up the formula with 2-tiered stages and the ability to shoot in multiple directions, reminiscent of Contra's frenetic action. Each of the 4 unique heroes wields distinct weapons and power-ups, keeping the bullets flying. The game's quirky humor shines through in its wanted outlaws and humorous boss battles, adding personality to the Old West theme. With its memorable soundtrack and enjoyable gameplay, Sunset Riders is a fine alternative for fans of run-and-gun action. Alien Breed on the Amiga offers a gripping and atmospheric gaming experience, drawing inspiration from the sci-fi world of Aliens, while delivering a gauntlet-like shooter. As you embark on your mission through the infested space station, the gripping narrative unfolds, and you'll find yourself immersed in a richly detailed world filled with menacing aliens. The game excels in creating an eerie atmosphere, enhanced by its top-notch graphics and atmospheric sound effects. Gameplay-wise, it offers challenging maze-like levels, with a variety of traps and obstacles, making each playthrough a thrilling adventure. While it borrows similar elements from arcade classics, Alien Breed introduces its own strategic twist, with computer upgrades, power-ups, and time-sensitive missions. The 2-player mode adds even more excitement, though some design quirks and difficulty spikes may frustrate players. Nonetheless, Team 17 has crafted an engaging and visually impressive shooter that's well worth the adventure for Amiga owners. Arcus Odyssey for the Sega Genesis is a hidden gem that combines elements from various games and anime into a unique experience. It blends cooperative arcade-style gameplay reminiscent of Gauntlet with light RPG elements and an upgrade system akin to Legend of Zelda. The game's graphics evoke a high fantasy anime style, although the slightly tilted top-down perspective takes some getting used to. The soundtrack impresses with its dramatic compositions, and the sound effects are well executed. Arcus Odyssey features 4 diverse playable characters, each with unique abilities, spells, and weapons, enhancing replayability and encouraging strategic character selection. The game is enjoyable despite balance issues, with some characters and items being overpowered. Arcus Odyssey offers an entertaining and unique gaming experience, marred only by balance and translation issues, making it a worthwhile discovery for those seeking a blend of action and RPG elements. Golden Axe 2 continues the similar gameplay and art style of its predecessor. This one came out exclusively for the Sega Mega Drive. The gameplay remains largely unchanged, with simple combos, throws, and special attacks as you move from left to right, battling foes on a quest to defeat the menacing Dark Gould. The combat has been slightly sped up, making it a bit more enjoyable, but it's still a short journey with only 6 levels and a final boss fight. Graphically, there's a minor upgrade in detail and color, but the background music is less memorable. If you like the original, Golden Axe 2 is more of the same. Gunforce may hold historical significance as an early precursor to the beloved Metal Slug series, but it's clear why it remains an obscure relic of its time. The game's saving grace is its vehicle combat segments, which offer moments of enjoyment. Although Gunforce introduces interesting ideas, it's not nearly as good as the games that came afterwards. But if you're a die-hard Metal Slug enthusiast and you're curious about its origins, it's definitely worth trying out. Joe and Mac, also known as Caveman Ninjas, offers a prehistoric co-op adventure that's both entertaining and charming. Originally released in arcades in 1991, this action platformer invites players to embark on a rescue mission to save kidnapped cave babes while battling various prehistoric adversaries. The game is relatively short across all versions, but it shines in its accessibility and cooperative gameplay. While the arcade and Genesis versions provide a stiffer challenge, the Super Nintendo edition is more forgiving, making it the recommended choice for newcomers. Despite its brevity, Joe and Mac boast colorful visuals, catchy music, and a variety of enemies and levels that keep the experience enjoyable. Wai Wai World 2 offers an action-packed crossover adventure that improves upon its predecessor by focusing on the action elements and delivering a faster-paced, more enjoyable experience. Developed by Konami, this Famicom title ditches the adventure elements, resulting in a streamlined and captivating platformer. What sets this game apart is its ability to channel the powers of various Konami heroes, including Goemon, Simon Belmont, Baby Upa, and Bill Riser, each with unique abilities. The game features linear action-packed levels with occasional genre switches, like shoot-'em-up sequences or sliding puzzles. While not a particularly challenging game, Wai Wai World 2 excels in level design, graphics, and an infectious soundtrack, making it one of Konami's standout Famicom titles, and an excellent gaming experience for fans of the era. Fortified Zone is a quirky yet enjoyable blend of gameplay styles, combining elements of The Legend of Zelda and Commando into a unique gaming experience. Developed by Jalico, the game lacks a deep narrative, instead focusing on 2 mercenaries infiltrating a fortified complex to defeat an unspecified enemy. Gameplay mechanics resemble classics like Commando, with deliberate character movement and precise aiming required to take down foes. The level design, reminiscent of the original Zelda dungeons, features rooms connected by multiple exits, filled with responding enemies, key items, power-ups, and mini-bosses. The game's generous health pickups and powerful items make it relatively easy, but the variety of upgrades keeps things interesting. With just 4 stages, Fortified Zone may seem short, but its engaging mix of gameplay elements make it a worthwhile addition to the Game Boy library. And of course, if you have 2 Game Boys and 2 copies of Fortified Zone as well as a link cable, you can play this in 2-player co-op. And this works great as you each have your own screen and you're able to split up and explore the dungeons more effectively. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure for the Atari Lynx delivers an unexpectedly enjoyable gaming experience. that combines elements of RPG and adventure genres. Drawing inspiration from the iconic 80s films featuring Bill and Ted, this game tasks players with the mission of rescuing the duo's babes from the Grim Reaper. The gameplay is reminiscent of classic titles like A Link to the Past, offering a nostalgic journey through 16-bit JRPG aesthetics, while maintaining the Lynx's unique charm. The top-down perspective allows for a clear view of the graphics, showcasing detailed environments such as Egyptian pyramids and various characters. Controls are well designed with 2 character choices, a step counter and the ability to walk or run, ensuring an engaging pace. And you can play the game in 2-player co-op if you have 2 Atari Lynx consoles and 2 copies of the game, as well as the COM-Link cable. And this is pretty rare for the time. You don't see a lot of RPGs with co-op, especially not on a handheld. Overall, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure is a solid journey that captures the essence of 90s RPG/adventure titles and is well worth a playthrough for both fans of the films and newcomers alike. So those are some of the co-op games from 1991. What are some of your favorites? And if you enjoyed this video, check out our video from last week where we talk about the co-op games from 1990. Thank you for watching.